Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Shayness, and it's a beautiful Sunday fun day. I say that because it's actually not as hot as it's been in Southern California, and two, we're gonna hang out with the boys because Sundays are for the boys. We're gonna do some car stuff, not on the Veloster today. However, we are getting a video done, and it's the one that you guys have all been asking for, and it's how are the mods holding up and what are my impressions now that I've owned the car almost 3 years. How does everything still feel on the car and all that good stuff? So let's jump straight into it. Also, quick disclaimer, throughout the video I'm going to show clips of past videos, so if you're brand new to the channel, you're probably not going to recognize some of these clips, but if you're an OG, you're going to recognize a lot of these clips. We're just basically going, you know, blast from the past, going to go back in time to show you some of the little snippets of the mods, especially some like the first one that I'm about to go over, because I'm not about to tear the car apart just to show you guys an image. So let's jump to that change of scenery. And just like that, change of scenery, and a lot more background noise because again it's Sunday, so people are driving by and working on their own projects. As you can see, we have the Camaro behind us and obviously Subi Lou and E-Man. We're at Subi Lou's place. The Camaro is gonna get a little bit of love today, but obviously what you guys are here for. So let's just jump straight into it. We're at the front end of the car, and the one thing that we did first that was kind of like our big major mod was the Turbo XS blow-off valve. And so the blow-off valve itself has held off very amazingly. I haven't had any of the issues that other people have obviously had. If you look at the forum, some people had issues with build quality at times, or maybe even a cell just going off, you know, their check engine light. I haven't had any of those issues. It's obviously one of the easiest installs to do, and best of all is that it sits perfectly flush underneath the bumper, so you don't have to cut anything. So again, I'm very happy with the product basically 3 years later, because I've almost had it since I've had the car. So there's that testament. Moving on next, while we're in the front of the car, we can focus on the carbon fiber hood and the 2.0 amber deletes from Endless Auto Salon. So big shout out to Veloster Bros for hooking it up with the carbon fiber hood. Obviously when I first got it, it wasn't in the best shape, and forgive the dirtiness of the car, but as you can see, the clear coat, well, after we got it re-cleared, the carbon dimensions carbon fiber hood has been holding up amazingly well. And shout out to Endless Auto Salon for doing a flawless job with these. The vinyl and the cut obviously on this have been doing really well. When I wash it, I do pressure wash it at times, so just that's a testament to the build quality of not just the hood, but also the quality of vinyl and the way they did their specific design, because as you can see, obviously the hood's in good shape minus the dirtiness. And as far as the amber deletes themselves, there have been no like peeling or wear and tear, and even better, the sun, because again, where I park my car for work, we don't have any cover. The sun has not been destroying the clear coat. We did obviously a great job where we took it, and the sun also hasn't been eating at the color of the vinyl, so I'm really happy about that. Another thing to note, not mod wise, but 3 years later, I'm also not experiencing bumper sag like everybody else has been doing. I'm actually really happy about that. I know we're still at the front, so I will go over bulbs in a moment, but just wanted to focus on that. Now, before we continue with some of the cosmetics, let's go under the hood and start talking about some of the components there. All right, guys, so now we're under the hood, and there's quite a lot to go over since obviously the beginning of the car build, but let's obviously focus on the important one, and that is this cold air gone short ram intake by AEM. So first and foremost, for those of you guys just tuning in, the reason why I went with AEM is because I live in California, and at the time this was the newest model, the 2016. AEM was the first manufacturer to actually get the 2016 model covered under carb. As you can see, the carb sticker right there. The K&N was still only up to the 2015 models, and I know I could have risked it with another brand, but I just, you know what, I've always had AEM products before, so I went with them. And I say that it's converted to short ram because there's actually an extra pipe that goes down to make it cold air, but I actually ended up buying a different filter element that's a little shorter, and again, I made it short ram so that way I didn't have to deal with any water suction, especially in the rainy season. Yes, I know California doesn't see much rain, but where I live, I did not want to have to risk the flooding of it. The next big one, and the first thing that you should probably do if you're looking at a Veloster, is my oil catch can setup. Once again, shout out to ADDW1 for sponsoring those videos and providing an extremely high quality dual oil catch can kit. You don't need dual oil catch cans, as you're gonna see in a video that's gonna be coming out. The actual intake side, which is this top can right here, it doesn't really see a lot of oil actually, you know, absorbing into that element. The one that you mainly want to worry about and focus on is actually this one right here. And sorry, it probably got nasty because of a wash, but this particular one right here is the one that you want to focus on. So if you get just one catch can, make sure you route it to the PCV side. If you're new to the channel, make sure to watch those videos, but they do an excellent job. And obviously it just helps with the longevity of the engine life, because it will pick up a lot of the oil residue that would otherwise get thrown back into your engine bay, especially, you know, with the air mixture. So again, doesn't matter what brand you go with, but make sure you do get an oil catch can kit. And if you just want something that's simple plug and play, specific for our cars, ADDW1 makes an excellent kit that you can actually color match to whatever theme you're going with. And best of all, they make single and dual kits, so you can go with a single oil catch can kit if that's more your flavor. Next, while we're still down here, obviously the latest video you guys saw me install this Megan strut bar, and it's been quite amazing. You do notice the difference, obviously, with more spirited driving. The big disclaimer that I would say, like I said in that video, is make sure that whatever strut bar you go with, that it incorporates an oil catch can kit of your choosing. The main reason why I state that is because this one fortunately had this little gap, because there's normally a ground there anyways, which is actually right underneath the bracket for the oil catch can kit. But there are some that don't have, you know, that particular feature and would not work with an oil catch can kit that's mounted up here, which most of them commonly are for our cars. So please take that into consideration. Actually, silly me, before I close the hood, there's actually one other mod that's here, but you can't see it, and that's right underneath this battery tray are the two bushings for the shifter cables. Obviously they're hidden because the battery is right there, but those bushings are doing just fine. Obviously they're meant to be better than the rubber bushings that come OE, so it's to be expected that those aluminum bushings are doing their job. The question, am I noticing a difference? Yeah, absolutely. Obviously when you shift, especially if you have an R-Spec or a Rally Edition model, because we have these short shifter stock, you definitely feel the confidence and the firmness in your shifting, especially if you do fast or hard shifting. So it is definitely well worth the small amount of money. I believe what they're like normally $40 to $50. So again, money well spent, super cheap, and it's honestly more intimidating than the job actually is. So highly recommend getting those if you drive a stick shift model. Alright, so now moving on to the side of the car, and forgive my reflection over here, the wheels and the suspension setup. So you can't really see much, so I'm going to go over here to this back wheel, but if you look right there, so you might barely be able to see it, the orange spring. So for those of you guys that are just tuning in, once again, I am lowered on Megan lowering springs. I didn't want to go too low, but as you can see, it just basically eliminates the gap just enough where it is still there. So I'm not like slammed or static, but I appreciate it because obviously the car feels more grounded. On top of that, I'm obviously not bottoming out at this particular gap, and the ride surprisingly is still very comfy. As far as the wheels, these are the Hilo 18-inch multi-spoke wheels. I've gone over them quite a few times, and I'm in a love-hate relationship with these wheels. I do love the way they look, especially when they're clean. Right now they're super dirty. I'm using extended red lug nuts, but you know what, like I said, love-hate relationship. I don't know if in the future of this build I'll replace them with something. I mean, you guys let me know, you know, comment down below if you think that these wheels are, you know, something that should stay and I should just, you know, enjoy them and not worry about it anymore. But again, I do love the wheels, and these this particular fitment is actually flush with the body line, so they are actually exactly where they should be. No spacers required. So that's another positive of the wheels, and I've had no issues. I'm still on the stock tires, so I can't really make a comment about the tires because it's not like they're aftermarket. As far as the mud flaps, once again, shout out to Subilu. They have been amazing. Because I am lowered, they do tend to rub in a lot of places. So if you're staying stock ride height, you're great. If you're lowering it, even with lowering springs, just expect rubbing almost over any kind of speed bump or dip. But one thing that I am going to note, and this is just a constant theme, especially when you're talking about being in the sun, is that as you can see, they do look a little beat up. They don't look as nice and shiny black as they should. And that's just, again, proper maintenance, you know, using the right type of cleaning solutions and just keeping up with the car. Speaking of sun, as you can see, my rear tow hook cosmetically has seen better days. So one thing that I would recommend if you're gonna do a front or rear tow hook is make sure that you clear coat it. Quite a few like levels of clear coating if you want it to last you longer, because otherwise it's gonna fade out like that. I did take off the front tow hook and this one was really beaten up as well. But as you can see, I repainted it. I did not do the best job, obviously, but you know, I did what I could with what I had. So moral of the story, clear coat your front and rear tow hooks, especially if you're going to be out in the sun a lot, because these things will get eaten up super fast. Forgive the breeze, but now that we are back here, let's focus on the 3-inch catback Greddy exhaust system. I love this thing for many different reasons. One, I love the aesthetics of it. I love that these are actual functional real tips. I love the Greddy engraving on the side, and I'm just really used to this particular brand from coming from, you know, the previous JDM scene. So I really vouch for them. But as I've stated a million times before, if you guys are looking for a louder exhaust or something to really wake up the car, stay away from this. This is not it. This is one of the very few full 3-inch piping catback exhausts. All the other ones are usually between 2.5 and 2 3/4 inch piping. So if you're looking for the widest possible, this is going to be your best bet. But look to probably modify the muffler section. This particular catback is amazing because not only is it street legal as far as emissions, but it is street legal as far as in sound. So it's literally it's literally no louder than the stock sounding, but the difference is that rather than audio noise being fed in through your speakers, that's actually what everyone hears as well. It's that nice purr. Again, if you want the 3-inch piping and you want to go louder, as you can see right here, it's a huge muffler. It's very aggressive. So look obviously into modifying that to get a nicer, louder sound. But the quality of this product is top notch. Moving a little higher up, third brake light flasher is working perfectly fine. If those of you that are asking if it was, you know, crappy made, it's a flasher. It's very basic, so it's not like something that's gonna just wear out on you. As far as the spoiler though, the variant spoiler, once again, shout out to Endless for wrapping it. It's dirty, forgive me, but it's been holding up. My only feedback is that it is interesting because I honestly thought that this wing was fully cosmetic, but I do feel a bit of downforce at play ever since I've had this. And I kind of like that. I do feel that when I'm kind of, you know, going, especially if I do like a hard acceleration to get onto the freeway, I do feel the rear end of the car planted firmly down. I don't like feel any kind of lift. I do feel added weight. And believe me, like most people are gonna say it's the wing itself, and you're right, but this thing isn't that heavy. It is heavier than stock, but it's not heavy, especially as opposed to like say the GTS or the ARC style wing. So you really do notice it. You do notice some sort of downforce at play. And I mean, obviously the design should provide downforce, but again, I wasn't expecting it. I was going for cosmetic with this, and it's nice to see a little bit of functionality from it. So if you guys are looking at the variant, whether it's this fiberglass model or a carbon fiber one, it is money well spent. Before I go to the inside of the car, I do just want to address the window visors. While they are still very much intact, these things have definitely seen better days. Again, the sun is just constantly beating at them, so they're no longer the nice clear that they should look like, because believe it or not, these are clear. They actually look super scuffed up, and you can see the spotting. It's just, they don't look good anymore. Obviously they look like they were badly painted black, even though they're supposed to be clear. So one of two things, if that clear isn't an issue for you, you might want to look into painting these or plastic dipping them in some sort of black or whatever color you'd like if you're going for, you know, some color matching. Otherwise, same thing as what I mentioned with the tail hooks, probably clear coating these quite a few layers before installing them, just to kind of keep that nice clearness going for it. Because unfortunately they've gotten really nasty. So we're gonna jump into the interior, but it is a really hot Sunday, and really I could probably just show you clips and talk over what I'm about to mention regarding the sills, the shift knob, the shift boot, and the shifter bushings underneath. So let's go home and show you that footage. Hey, what up guys, it's your boy, and we're back at home base for this last bit of the video. So forgive me, it's incredibly hot, so I had to throw some water on me. I know I said it wasn't as hot in the morning, but it just spiked up in the afternoon. But let's get back on topic. I'm just gonna run down the cosmetics real quick. So obviously we did the door sills, we did the shift boot, we did the shift knob, and for those of you that don't remember, that goes even further back, we also did a screen protector for the stock stereo head unit. And I'm gonna obviously just show a variety of clips right now, but it's all been holding up very well. None of these things were obviously something that were meant to experience extensive wear and tear, and they were all very high quality, or obviously OE, just retrofitted to fit my Veloster. So I'm really happy about all of that. It's obviously been doing great. The only thing that we can touch base on the interior is the actual shift bushings that are on the bottom of the shift column base. And again, I obviously switched brands in between within a few months, but currently it has the ADDW1 bushings, and they've been doing a phenomenal job. If you happen to drive a stick shift model and you're only going to do one set of the shifter bushings, these are probably the ones that I would recommend. While you do feel the difference with the ones underneath the hood, these ones are the ones that you actually feel when you actually make your shifts in your hand. The original bushings are obviously rubber, so when you go into first, second, third, and so on, stock, you actually kind of feel a tiny bit of play. You won't notice it until you actually put these aluminum bushings in. So when you install these new ones, you will immediately notice the difference in that there is the elimination of that small play. So you can literally just, so to speak, go through the gears really fast. Basically just throw it in first, throw it in second, throw it in third, and you won't notice any kind of small play. You just feel it very firm, and I personally like that. So for those of you guys that did buy this car to do a little bit of spirited driving, this is definitely one of those mods that I would highly recommend. But guys, that's about it for this video. I'm pretty sure I touched base on all of the major mods that I've done to the car. Some of these have obviously been on a little longer than others. But my overall summary of it is that every single mod that I've done to this car has held up incredibly well. I have not noticed any kind of issues on any of the components, and again, they're doing the job that they were meant to do. The only disclaimer that I would state to you guys is that you get what you pay for. So if you are interested in any of these things, with the exception of the oil catch can, I would say don't cheap out and make sure that you buy a quality product from a reputable company that's been around and they know what they're doing. Just because the last thing you want to do is obviously spend your hard-earned money on something cheap and then have to reinvest into that same product. With that being said, some of these products, like I mentioned throughout the video, I did spend a little bit more money than others. So it's really up to you to kind of be a savvy shopper and kind of look for deals. Right now, for example, not being sponsored, but there's a few companies that are doing Labor Day sales. So if you have money this week after seeing this video, I'd definitely go check them out, because a lot of them are honoring the whole week. And to be very specific and give you examples, for example, the Megan lowering springs that I have on the car are actually one of the more affordable sets. I know that a major company in the KDM community is ARC, and they make 2 sets of springs, but they are almost double the price of the Megan springs. And I've used Megan components not just in this vehicle but in other cars before. The wife's XB has them, so when I say that I trust that brand and I've never had an issue, I quite mean it. So again, it's really up to you to kind of do that homework. That's one example of me saving money. Another one is where I spent more, but for specific reasons. So for example, I spent more money on the AEM intake because of the carb sticker, but you guys can actually get something a lot more affordable, probably half the price of what I paid for that. If you look at brands like Sixt, they make an amazing air intake system that's a little bit over $100 as opposed to close to the $300 price tag that AEM goes for. Again, I did make sure to get it on sale, so I didn't pay that price, but that's one example. But guys, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was long, but a lot of you guys have been asking and you've been wanting to know about some of these things, so hopefully this was informative to you. Please give me your feedback, and like I mentioned in other videos, if there's something that you're interested in seeing or trying to see if I can cover it, please let me know. As always, thanks for all the love and support, and I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully in cooler weather. Bye. Oh my goodness, I forgot the bulbs. Guys, all the bulbs are fine, they're doing amazing. The only issue I had was the daytime running light halogens that I had with the high beam were Nokia's. They were cheap, so I replaced them with Hella's. They've been doing amazing. And I recently had a license plate LED burnout, and I'm going to do a new product review, so just expect that. Sorry guys.